Well, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kusken. Dear customers, dear partners, also from my side, a cordial welcome to the DSAG Annual Congress. I'm really happy to see that so many of you have found a way to come to Bremen. And earlier, as I came in, I discovered my former teacher of Latin. I've got particular performance pressure, and that brings the story of yesterday to my mind. This little one, my son, had his first day in school, and then he managed to be seated apart from his seating neighbor. I'm only mentioning that as a daddy with regard to my son. And yes, I was really happy about this and looking forward to this annual Congress. I have been hearing the feedback. It has been received. We take it very seriously. And the dialogue, the exchange with our customers, with our partners, and with the user groups is fairly elementary for SAP. And Jens, you rightly mentioned it. It's only together that we can use the opportunities of digital change. And I thought that I'd like to start by taking a look back at 50 years of SAP. And I think this slide makes very clear that technological innovations, time and again, led to a situation where companies and entire industries changed, especially in the 1990s with the breakthrough of the internet, with big data. Very many new companies have come into being, and these companies did not come into being by migrating easily their systems into the cloud. These companies, predominantly from the US, they did have the courage to newly think their business models, business processes, and to make transformations. And this change relates to everyone, affects everyone, including SAP. And in the past 20 years, the cloud hasn't been here since today only. Many competitors have come into being also for SAP in the cloud, exclusively in the cloud. And many of our partners like Microsoft have almost completely concluded the change from on-prem to the cloud. That's why we decided 3 years ago to newly position SAP in a very fundamental way with a clear vision. And SAP, and I clearly heard that back in 2017, SAP is more than a cloud and infrastructure provider. We want to achieve a situation where with our vision and version, we put you, our customers, into the center, transforming your business models. There are enough examples represented in the auditorium here. How can we jointly change the company from a pure product company to a holistic service company? How do we manage from quote to billing to financing to cover these processes end to end? And how do we manage to offer more licensing models, subscription, pay-as-you-go, you name it? And how can we achieve a situation where models like APO then are designed in a much more intelligent way in order to get demand and supply in even better agreement, improving your warehousing, etc. Both parts require resilient and good supply chains. It's obvious. 80% of the material flows worldwide are managed by SAP systems. And we have set up our goal that we do not only want to manage these material flows, but interconnect them with the SAP Business Network. With connection comes transparency. With transparency comes resilience. Container X was a beginning for the automotive industry, and now we are in the process of expanding it to many other industries. And if you take a look around, I think every one of us realizes that climate change is the biggest challenge for us and also for our companies. That's why we thought about it. How can our technology help? SAP and your company should be designed in a more sustainable way. For example, with a green ledger, which is quite obvious. We do have the material flows. Let's develop a standard for carbon footprint. How can we register it in a green ledger on a transaction level and realize that next year we are going to deliver, Thomas? One other thing is important, that we think across corporate borders, newly thinking about integration. We heard about it, this criticism, justified. It was 5 years ago. And believe me, it wasn't easy to turn SAP around, because this vision, it will only become a reality if you've got a very clear product strategy. And I will elaborate later on cloud and on-prem. But we are no longer discussing about the platform anymore. That's the business technology platform. And as I hear SAP and openness, then in the cloud we are open, more open than ever. We deliver hundreds of interfaces, not only non-SAP to SAP, but also SAP to non-SAP. We've got a very, very extensive integration suite at BDP, because I want SAP to stand for openness and for expandability, extensibility, because we want to give you that flexibility. And I will get back later on to customizing and clean core. That's a very important point where we need to give you the flexibility, also getting into that green core, adapting the public cloud. Now, at the moment, you can't avoid talking about the topic of artificial intelligence. Basically, I could talk about AI only, but I also want to elaborate on the current topics of the day. Nevertheless, permit me to briefly talk about artificial intelligence, because the next big revolution is coming with generative AI. But let's not forget that in the past 5 years, we have already invested quite a bit in research and development in more than 130 use cases that are already being put to use by customers like ZF for warehouse optimization with IDP. Based on artificial intelligence, the Klein group is then taking the travel expenditure into account with Concur, with highly qualitative and automated compliance checks. In the past, this used to be manual work, lots of manual work. Now it's completely automated. And now we are reaching the next level through generative AI, away from individual use cases of traditional AI to so-called LLMs, large language models, and foundational data models. So how can we now use technology for your benefit? And here I would like to briefly elaborate on the 3 building blocks of SAP Business AI. It's enormously about relevance. In the past, we used to develop technologies, then we thought about what the benefit is for our customers. That's the problem. Today, it's very important for our developers and our product managers to know that everything that we are doing has to be closely interwoven with your business processes, your business models. That's why the first point is the digital co-pilot. And why is that co-pilot more intelligent than that of all other technology companies? Let me briefly explain that to you. Especially now, millions of end users are working with our software. And I myself, in my career, I spent hours every day with transaction codes like FPO2, if I correctly remember, to amend financial documents, PCO2, to analyze profit centers. We might go into a competition as to who knows most transaction codes. I spent hours on drawing data from the BW and from all other sources. And in future, the future is near. As we are asking a question to a co-pilot, the co-pilot will give us intelligent answers in the field of analytics. Where do I have my skill gap in my company? Where can I close the skill gap? Where, at which locations will I find the skills? At which universities? And so what does that setting mean for my profit and loss statement? Can I decarbonize supply chains without skyrocketing costs? And how do I no longer have to sit in front of the SAP system and doing individual transactions, but in the future this job will be taken over by the co-pilot. That's the second building block. That's intelligent workflows, intelligent business processes. Everybody knows it. Our IT, your IT, they are spending a lot of time to automate workflows, to configure workflows. Even today, we are seeing that with generative AI, it will be possible for our workflows to learn themselves, to optimize themselves. By connecting these workflows to the corporate data of hundreds of thousands of customers, we allow them to learn with best practices, then fed by Signavio and Calm. So through that, we will manage to have a much higher degree of automation for key processes in your companies like source to pay and order to cash. And the last point for relevance certainly is the ERP migration, the acceleration of digital transformation. Everybody knows it, how extensive migration is from A to B, data migration. In the future, through generative AI, we will have developer and migration tools on the BTP, and self-developed customizing can be replaced then through automatic code generation at the BTP. Intelligent migration tools is what we're going to have for simpler data migration, for harmonization of data. The second point, the second building block, is reliability. You, dear customers, have trusted us for years. You have been entrusting us the most sensitive data, and for us as SAP, it's a major task to deal with that in a way which is responsible and high quality. SAP AI is high quality because all of our SAP cloud applications are based on one semantic data model. As good as the data, as good as AI. More than 25,000 customers are already making their anonymized data available to us. We don't infringe upon any copyrights. We strictly follow the General Data Protection Regulation, and we can guarantee to our customers what's happening to their data, where they are kept, where they are managed in the European Union, in Germany. And last but not least, so a demo via Copilot is easily done, but how can the Copilot find out which employee then can see which data, which content? Not everybody should be allowed to see everything. So, of course, we also apply the authorization concept in our applications and in our work. The last topic is responsibility. We are very well aware of the high level of responsibility that we have with that new technology. That's why in all of the AI models, at the end, it's still the human being that takes the decision. And our AI models, the algorithms, they have to be clearly documented, they have to be transparent, and they have to be explainable. And at the end, for years, we've had an external advisory board that regularly checks our algorithms for non-bias and for compliance with our ethical basics. Tomorrow, Thomas in his keynote will elaborate on that, on the technical details, the architecture, because there again, through the AI, we include our partners, our ecosystems, but certainly that as well will lead to major change in many industries and in the way in which we are working with SAP software. That's the vision. The vision is becoming a reality, but now let's talk about the reality in many companies. What do we see as of today? And I think it was confirmed in that survey mentioned. Even today, with many customers, we are seeing highly complex systems landscapes, all kinds of customizing, many fragmented data models, and very, very extensive ERP release migrations. Many customers, as mentioned by Jens, are years back behind the latest release. Our 40,000 developers are writing so much code, but a lot of that code doesn't even reach our customers. Last week, only just I had a customer, and I came there, and they said, Christian, high triple-digit amount was spent for an ERP migration, 30 times the customizing migration, like for the standard software, like for innovation. Complex, standardized interfaces, performance problems because of a lot of fragmented data material. That can't be the target. That can't be the objective. It can't be the objective of SAP nor of our customers. And that is why 3 years ago we took that decision to bring an offering underway, because the future is in the cloud, but we want to accompany each individual customer on this journey. And RISE in SAP is a unique offering with a clear statement, with a clear focus on your business models and your business processes. How can we jointly standardize them, transform them, newly adapt them to the digital world for more in growth, more in standardization? And the journey begins often in the private cloud, because oftentimes no customer can get to the standard at a 100% level, but the objective is clear, ensuring integration with BTP also into hybrid landscapes, on-premise systems. We are making strong investments into that, but also through BTP, building the extension to get to the standard, to harmonize data models, because it's only then that artificial intelligence can generate the highest possible benefit. Analytics will then be based on one source of truth. And we are making support available through SAP Business Architecture with our partners, with SAP Services, and with tools like Signavio. In the future, also probably LeanIX, cordial welcome, also for the architecture and the transformation to be able to model that in an even better way, and of course with our cloud application lifecycle management. And after the success of RISE, we then called into life Grow with SAP. And many customers are new in the SAP family. They need an ERP in order to quickly scale and automate their business, orienting it for new business models. These customers often go for, or they must have 100% greenfield. They need go-lives within weeks, not within months or quarters. And with Grow with SAP, we are establishing an alternative, and also for many branch offices of large corporations, we are seeing successfully that Grow with SAP, that we can put that into use very successfully and quickly. In the past few years now, there were many questions also about the cloud strategy of SAP. Now, look, please, I want to be very clear about one thing on this stage. As a CEO, I've got a responsibility that you, in the future, can act in a highly competitive way in the market. And I also have the responsibility of giving a future to SAP. The future is in the cloud. We mentioned it at the onset. That's my responsibility. That's our responsibility, with a focus on the customer. To be very clear about that today, we don't leave any customer behind. There may be others that have acted differently. SAP will continue to invest in functions and features for our on-premise customers. We will continue to hold more than 200 ERP versions in more than 130 countries. We will localize them. We will maintain them. For that, we will spend several billions of euros to take these customers along. And we will continue to make our cloud available in more than 3 hyperscalers, which means that in each computing center in Switzerland, Austria, Germany, everywhere in the world, we have to port our BTP. That's an enormous investment. Many developers are saying, well, why? Here we are talking about flexibility for our customers, not only just one cloud. And we ensure that there is no login, neither in SAP nor with some hyperscaler. That's why we are developing many services on Kubernetes, so that in the future with RISE and Grow, we can give you a choice, an option. Where should the journey take you to? Well, why then this discussion, this decision that certain strategic innovations should take place in the cloud only? Let's take the example of artificial intelligence, AI. You wouldn't believe how many customers, more than 25,000 customers, are using our AI. High adoption rate, high satisfaction rate. 25,000 customers. On-premise, bad quality of AI, a lot of escalation, because just simply it's so very difficult to train algorithms with one data set versus with data of more than 25,000 customers, because many customers don't have the expertise, the data scientists, to further optimize the algorithms. And because many customers have got these data silos, connecting them through AI models, AI algorithms can only be as good as the underlying data quality. And SAP won't benefit, our customers won't benefit if we deliver something that has got no chance to reach a high performance. Let's take Green Ledger, Sustainability Control Power. I think all of us in the room want to do more with the Sustainable Control Power and the Green Ledger than with another dashboard that you can buy at the market outside in realms. We want standardized interfaces. We want to ensure that ESG is no longer estimated, but fed with actual data. For that, in many, many interfaces that we want to connect with our architects in order to ensure that you enjoy a high level of quality and a high level of satisfaction with our products. And last but not least, we've got the topic of the industry cloud. There's a good reason. Well, it's always said SAP in 25 industries. That will continue. And our research and development expenditure for the industry cloud, by the way, are higher than ever before. In the past, we did a lot of customizing for a good reason all around ERP, because there are thousands of interfaces in the field of trade promotion management or commodity trade and risk management. Then we delivered the industry cloud, and many customers appreciate the modular architecture, but they don't appreciate at all if the integration doesn't work. And here again, there are hundreds of interfaces that we deliver via the BTP where we have to ensure that they are being used in order to achieve a very good product experience. And that is why we have decided to deliver these strategic innovations through Rise and Grow. And at this point, let me emphasize once again, we will not leave any single customer behind. We will continue to invest billions so that each customer will go on that journey with SAP jointly together. But please also understand that all of us, as Jens said, we need innovation for our customers in order to successfully shape the change. And even SAP will only withstand in competition if we no longer have customers on more than 200 ERP versions. It is our task, our duty, to take you along on this journey. And now, before it's only I talking about Rise, I think it's much better to give the floor to a customer who's already on the journey. So I give a cordial welcome to Mr. Windhorst, CIO of Froster AG. Good morning. In terms of choice of shoes, we got a good match without knowing beforehand. So I already talked about Rise and Grow, Mr. Windhorst. Please tell us a little bit what was the motivation for Froster AG to go on that journey with Rise. Well, first, good morning to all of you. Welcome to Bremen, to the DSAG Congress. What were the motivations? We at Froster produce food, as it should be, like you and me, would produce it and consume it. And for that, we need to bring transparency and sustainability into our product. So we sat down and said, how can we get that done? On the one hand side, we've got our purity commandment. So we are celebrating 20 years of the purity statement at Froster. We are ensuring that in our product there are no chemical aromas or additives. In order to make that possible, to get that done, and to then communicate it to our customers on the product, we have to talk to our suppliers, our customers, and we have to network with them very strongly so that we get the data that we need to get it onto the product. So we decided to talk to our customers and suppliers and to try and make sure that the platform that we are using, the SAP platform, can be made future-proof. How can we develop it onto a next level? And that's the reason why I decided back in 2021 to make use of the SAP RISE program so that our ERP and the other SAP systems should be elevated onto this platform. Certainly there were some other things, apart from integrating customers and suppliers and getting them better connected. Then safety, security. We as a small, medium-sized company had the challenge to make it secure in the cloud. Many others are worrying about that as well. That was one of the big motivations. Another one was that we wanted to have simple operations. We don't want to spend major internal resources. And so since October 2021, we got to RISE with SAP. Thank you for that. As we are talking about the journey, we also have to talk about the outcomes, the added value that you want to generate. What can you report to us about that? I think what's very important is that at the end of the day, we are not only making an investment, but also seeing a benefit. We can see that in our core processes that are important to ensure this transparency and sustainability, especially in terms of what comes from the market as a demand, up to how can I deliver the product with a good service level. We just simply improved our processes also through the integration, especially with customers, but also with suppliers, because we could more quickly get the data into our processes. And then one needs to say, with that new technology, we were able to act more quickly. That holds true for things like forecasting, prediction, in things that are happening in the markets. And here we are talking about change. How can we better position ourselves for change? And especially in the supply chain process, we all learned many things in the past 2 years. The quicker I have information available, the quicker can I react to things. That was really noticeable for us. It became felt. We may have been early and courageous, but it paid off for us. Yeah, thanks for that. And one major topic that we are driving very strongly internally at SAP is our engagement model. So it needs to get better. It needs to become closer. We as SAP have to take over more responsibility. Now, how did you perceive this engagement model with RISE? Were there people, human beings, that helped you with that transformation? Yes, there were human beings who helped us, and we jointly had to cope with challenges, and we did cope with these challenges. We just talked about how we can accomplish a situation where we go along with time, where we can cover change quickly. And with that team that we have by our side, we can make it possible more quickly to keep up pace. Only just this year, the last release update was done together with a team. And now we manage to make an update every year. Before that, if we're honest, we didn't make that happen. So along these lines, we had good experience, but there certainly also are challenges, especially when it comes to the integration of all of these solutions, creating the prerequisites. There's a lot of work left to be done, but we learned a lot from one another in good exchanges. We are sitting down together with a team every week. That's a bit different, really, from doing things in a project-related way. We are part of the RISE team. And every week, my team, together with the SAP colleagues, is bringing things forward. I think that's a very, very important point. By now, we've got thousands of RISE customers. And for me, it is close to my heart that each of these RISE customers should feel that SAP happens to be part of the transformation, that SAP takes responsibility, that SAP has workers with their skills and architectures. They make the transformation plans and ensure implementation. Now, let's try to take a look into the future. What are your plans? What is the role that SAP is playing? Well, I think the plans are visible. All of us will have to confront ourselves with the topic of artificial intelligence. All of us are having responsibilities with regard to sustainability. A lot is going to happen in that direction in the next few years. We believe that we took a big step forward to see that what we have as a platform, what we are doing with our customer, suppliers, and employees, how can we use it for implementation? We've just heard, if you don't have the foundation, things are getting difficult. Well, in conclusion, I would like to thank you very much indeed. For you, it was almost like a home game, as I understood you saying. Thanks for your trust and confidence in SAP. I wish you the very best for the future. Let's hope that we have good cooperation also in the future. Thanks, Mr. Windhorst. I see that my time is up, but in conclusion, let me maybe come forward with a final statement. Transformation is never easy. Each change is difficult. We at SAP experience that each and every single day, because transformation doesn't mean some simple migration. At SAP, it means that there's change for everyone: marketing, sales, development, provision, service, everywhere. And yes, of course, it's also a question for us: how quickly do we want to accomplish the change into the cloud? Have trust in one statement. We know very exactly what our biggest treasure is. Our biggest asset are our many thousands of legacy existing customers. We want to take them along on our journey. For that, we will continue to make investments. But please also take home with you that this change is happening out there in each and every industry, and that we need to make that change together and master it successfully. I would like to thank you very much indeed for your attention. Thank you for your trust and confidence in SAP. I wish you 3 great days here at the annual Congress, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.